All right, and we're back with part 2. So the last thing that we did was we painted the left wing here with those out and in motions. Now you're going to go ahead and fill in that spot that's left, and that is going to make the left side wing of your dragon there. So now we're going to go ahead and complete his right wing. So we have our squiggly line, that's going to be the back of the wing. Now we're going to do that in and out motion on the other side. So we go out, in and out, and then back into the center. And if you want those points to be a little bit neater, you can go ahead and use a slightly smaller brush. And there we have our dragon's wings. All right, now we are going to take that smaller brush and we're going to do the little arrow on his tail. So we're just going to do a triangle right off the tip that we painted there. Just like that. And you can give some extra points there on the side. And we have our dragon tail. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep using this slightly smaller brush. We're going to go ahead and take this oval that we painted for the dragon's head, and we're going to give him almost a little bit of a beak there at the front. So we're going to make a little bit of a point, and that's going to look like his snout. So we're just going to come off that oval shape and give him a little bit of a point, just like that. And now we're going to paint 2 horns on the top of his head. So they're just 2 pointed curved lines. And you can make those as big or as small as you'd like. And now the one last thing we're going to do is we're going to paint a little bit of a bump right in front of that horn, just to give it a little bit more of a definition for his face there. All right, so our first dragon is complete. We have our hills, we have our castle with the dragons in the background. Now we're going to go ahead and paint the smaller dragon flying behind there. So we're going to do another curved line here, another squiggly line. And we're going to start that a little bit in front of the moon, just like that. So we have our squiggly line. Now we're going to make a little bit of a thicker end on this side and end it in a point on that side. So we have a point down here and a smaller point at the end there. So that's going to be the dragon's tail up there in that right-hand corner. So we'll go ahead and paint our little triangle for his tail. And we need to paint our 2 horns on his head. And now we're going to go ahead and paint his wings. So we're going to start with a semicircle. So we do half of a circle like this. Now we'll go in and do those in and out motions to make his wings. So out and in, out and in, out and in, out and in. We'll go ahead and paint that in. And that one is nice and easy. There is our second dragon. Give him a little bit of a point there. All right, so now we're gonna go move on to painting the stars in the background here. And this is gonna get a little bit fun, but a little bit messy. So make sure that you have something handy that you can use to wash off your fingers. So you're gonna go ahead and get a little bit of white paint onto your finger. So just a little bit. You just want the pad of your finger to have a little bit of paint on it. So just that much is okay. And what we're going to do is press our finger onto the canvas in the background and swirl it around just like that. So you're going to do that a couple different times. Keep going until the paint is all gone. You can go back to your first circle and get some extra paint from there, because you don't want these to be super white. You want to be able to see the purple color behind it as well. So we're going to make them transparent just like that. So I think I have enough paint here. We'll get those 4. And what we're going to do with those, we're going to turn those into really bright stars. So we have our transparent circles there. Now we're going to dip a very, very fine small brush into the paint, and you're going to paint a star. So we'll do 1 line down, make a cross, and then you do 2 lines through it, just like that. So that transparent paint in the background makes it look like that star is glowing nice and bright. So these are going to be our bright stars of the evening. And you can do as many of these as you'd like, but we will paint some other stars, so make sure you leave some room. All right, so we have our bright stars. We're ready to go with just our not so bright stars, the stars that are further away in the galaxy. And what we're gonna do is just take some of that white paint and just do some little dots. So you can do some that are bigger, some that are teeny tiny. You can do some that are close together, some that are far away. We'll do a couple together over here. And there we have the night sky full of stars with some flying dragons. So the last thing we're going to do is a new technique that I'm going to show you guys. We're going to take our brush with the white paint. We're actually going to get a tiny little bit of purple on there as well. So I'm just going to dip the very tip into the purple. You can see there's barely any purple on that brush. So mostly white with a little bit of purple. And what we're going to do is put it right on the canvas and just swirl in circles like this. So as you can see, the more I swirl, the more thin that paint gets, and that gives it that kind of wispy cloud look. So you can see I'm kind of going in a line on the bottom of the canvas, and I'm building that up in the center. So you want your ends to be thin, and right in the middle, we're going to make it nice and thick at the top there. And you just keep going until there's no more paint left, and we have a cloud. So we're going to go ahead and do that again. A little bit of purple paint. And I'm going to do another one right down here. So spin, 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 start in a straight line, and then build it up a little bit in the middle. And again, you can make these as big or as small or as wide as you'd like. And we're going to do one final one going right across the moon here. So in my original painting, I had 4 clouds. I think in this one, I'm just going to fit 3. So we have 1, 2, and now we're going to do a nice big one right across here. So we start small on the bottom, straight across, and you build that up, 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 and keep spinning until there is no paint left on your brush. We're just about there. And if you'd like, if you want your clouds to look a little bit darker, you can actually use a tiny bit of black paint instead of the purple. So I have some black paint on there. And you can see that's making it much, much darker. And that can look like a storm cloud, like if you want it to be a dark and stormy night. And if it's not mixing too well, you can just get some more white. And that's a little bit more menacey looking if you're looking for more of like a spooky painting. So we have some darker clouds there. And we are all set and done. So I know this one had a lot more steps than some of our previous paintings. So glad you guys stuck with me through the end here, and I would love to see some pictures of your masterpieces. If you'd like to share pictures of your work to our Facebook page, we would all love so much to see them. So thank you guys so much for following along, and we'll see you next time on Painting with Miss Karen. Bye-bye.